Running has so many positive effects on our mental and our physical health, and we all run for various reasons, but could one of those be to get a six-pack? I'm not talking about going to your local off-licence and picking up a crate of beer. I am talking about those defined muscles you find below your chest. But what does having abs even mean? Will they help us run faster? And will running even help us reach that aesthetic goal? There's a lot to unpick here. Okay, quick one before we crack on with this video. A little reminder to click on that bell icon and subscribe so you don't miss any more of our videos. But now let's address what we mean by abs. Now, hopefully you're still with me on this one, but I just want to tell you guys that whatever you might think, you have abs, whatever your physique, however much exercise you do. We've all got stomach muscles, otherwise we'd just be a wobbly heap on the floor. Now, I'm aware that the title of this video might conjure up images of a six-pack. Maybe you're thinking 400-metre athletes standing on the start line at the Olympic Games. And admittedly, I mean, some of those guys have 8-packs even, but this is not a competition. We are not in some bodybuilding beauty contest. We are active people who want to have a strong body that's going to enable us to exercise and to have fun. So I'm going to look at exactly what are abs and why you most certainly have some. Well, another word for your abs is basically your core. So I reckon you guys are with me now on that one, but I want to strip things right back, quite literally. So when we look at the anatomy, you have your spine and then you've got your organs, and that's all held roughly in place by fascia, but really it is those core muscles, those abs, that hold it really closely in place, but also allow you to move. And the deepest of those muscles is your transversus abdominis. Now, imagine this is like your corset muscle. So it runs round from your lower back through to your stomach. And this is actually a flat muscle and it helps to maintain stability, but also keep that internal abdominal pressure. Next up, we have the obliques, both the internal and external obliques, and these actually work together. They sit on the more lateral side of your body, and the external obliques are the ones that are more obvious. They run from the outside or the bottom side of your rib cage down to your hip bones. And when the internal and external obliques work together, they can cause trunk flexion as well as rotation. And then finally, we've got the potentially more obvious muscle, in some cases anyway, the rectus abdominis. This is the one that's also known as the six-pack. Well, this runs in 2 lines down the front of your stomach, so attaching at your ribs down to your pubic bone. And because of its unilateral direction and just those 2 attachments, it actually only has the function of trunk flexion when contracting. So as a result, it might be the more obvious one to see, but doesn't actually play that much of an important role. And you will recognize it when it's tense. It does form those bumps, which we associate with a six-pack, but that's only going to be visible on people with very low body fat. And just because maybe you can't see yours, trust us, it's still there doing its thing. Now we've discovered that we all have abs, irrelevant of whether we can see them or not. Where does running fit into this equation? Well, if you are set on wanting to show off these newly discovered abs, your quickest way to that goal is going to be through weight loss. But this is not something that we are going to encourage. For us, we say it's more important that you've got a strong and functional body. And if that results in weight loss, then great. But ultimately, health is more important, which takes us back to running. Because running is an aerobic activity, and as a result, you're going to get fitter and probably become leaner, which does increase your chance of your abs actually becoming more visible. Well, a more constructive approach would be to strengthen your abs. A solid and effective core will not only help with your posture, but also your running efficiency. As you can probably guess, I am more of an advocate for abs that help you run fast rather than abs that just look pretty. Well, you can develop these muscles through running drills, and specific core exercises. When it comes to running, they're going to be working to stabilize your spine, to help drive your hip flexors, and also help with rotation as you come through on every stride. Now, if you want to work on this strength and therefore muscle development and help it get there more quickly, you're going to need to focus on more explosive exercises. So things such as hill sprints or doing fast speed work on the flat is all going to help you develop those muscles more quickly. However, doing those long, steady runs like we mentioned earlier can help with running efficiency and also fat loss. So in a sense, they go hand in hand. then we've got running drills, which are designed to make you become a more efficient runner and to help switch on some of those muscles that could potentially be a little bit lazy. And pretty much all running drills are going to engage and therefore strengthen your abdominal muscles. Let's take the really simple high knee drill, for example. You've got the obvious hip flexion to get the rectus abdominis going, but then there's more to it. As you put your weight onto a single leg, your deep core is going to be working harder to stabilize and hold you upright. Another drill that I like to use in a warm-up is the side step or side gallop, changing your leading leg so you work both sides of the body, and that's going to help wake up those oblique muscles in particular. Well, with your core and your abs playing such a key role in being an efficient runner, it's a good idea to work on them in isolation too. So yeah, bring on the core. Never fun, but very effective. And one exercise that is a bit old school but is proven to work is the good old plank. And you can spice this up a little bit by adding in side plank or rotation, lifting a leg off, for example, anything that's going to challenge your body a little bit more. And you might think, when you think of a six-pack, of the good old crunch exercise, probably something that was really popular in the 80s and 90s, but that does purely work on that rectus abdominal muscle, the one we've talked about earlier. And I think by now you know that in the bigger picture, it's not really that important on focusing solely on that. Now finally, I just want to point out to those of you who are maybe getting obsessed with working on your abs or worrying about how you look, to a certain extent, some people just develop muscle or show muscle more easily than others, and that is down to genetics. So let's focus on performance and what we can do to make our bodies more efficient. I mean, you might be saying, yeah, that's just words of someone who doesn't have a six-pack. Yeah, I don't, but I would say, trust me, that I would be far happier from being able to run fast than I will be able to be posing in my bikini on my annual summer holiday. Well, hopefully you guys have found it interesting and you've enjoyed this video. You know what to do. Hit that like button and click on the globe so you don't miss any more videos.